Police have increased their efforts to ensure the safety of communities. That's following the spate of tavern attacks in recent days. On Sunday, we saw 15 people killed in a shooting in Soweto. In Katlehong, 2 people were also shot and killed, while 4 people suffered the same fate after a shooting at a tavern in Pietermaritzburg. Today, we'll see the deployment of the Berets in Soweto in an attempt to restore peace and monitor the situation on the ground. eNCA reporter Moloko is following those developments and joins us now. Good morning, Moloko. We understand that the Berets have in fact landed in Soweto. What will be their program going forward?
Well, Mfundo, obviously considering that mass killing of 15 people at the weekend at a tavern here at Nomzamo section in Orlando, the authorities were forced to react. We saw Police Minister Berets yesterday and his entourage coming to this area, making commitments that they are going to ensure that there's police visibility. And he promised that the police's tactical response team unit, which will be in this area, yesterday he was saying before the end of yesterday they would be here. However, they were really not here. Of course, last night we saw an operation that was led mainly by the officers from the JMPD. But this morning when we arrived here, we first went to Nomzamo area. They were not there as well, and we came to the police station with the hope that obviously this is where they would be assembling. But I can confirm that at just after 8 o'clock, we saw at least one minibus taxi carrying about 5 or 6 officers from the TRT unit arriving at this police station. And later, of course, we saw another convoy of various vehicles, and the ministry, through the spokesperson Leranzo Temba, confirmed that indeed they are in town, at least to restore order in this area. Mfundo.
And then insofar as the Orlando police station is concerned, I mean, listening to community members yesterday, they really were very critical of this particular police station. How is morale there when you try to interact with some of the police officers? Are they hanging their heads in shame? What is the situation there?
Well, there are various complaints which members of the community are complaining about. One is more about what they perceive to be poor service. They would say that one of the young people that, for instance, we were chatting to yesterday said, look, I was once assaulted, and when I went there to report this matter, the police just laughed at me because I was saying I had been assaulted by a female. And people in that section were also saying that, look, we've been reporting these gunshots that are forever going off here in our area. They say on the daily basis there are gunshots, likening them to fireworks, saying that it actually goes off right in front of the door of your shack. And they say the local police have not really been doing much. But another issue, Mfundo, which emerged was just the issue of complaints that there was a dominating ethnic groups in terms of the police officers who are here. Yes. But we had Police Minister Berets coming on to say, look, we are all South Africans. Perhaps we must come back here to educate people that it doesn't matter what ethnic group you are, for as long as you are a South African national and are a police officer, you can actually serve anywhere in any other part of the country. But of course, considering the allegations that crime happens unabated in this area, the people here will obviously feel the heat and the squeeze, and they are likely to complain about each and everything, Mfundo.
The community also spoke about possibly seeing some sort of rotation of these police officers, saying if they've been in one particular police station for maybe 20 or 30 years, they've now formed a bond with some of their colleagues. And when there's something that's brought up about those colleagues, they would automatically defend each other. Just talk to us more about at least that proposal that came from community members.
Yes, in fact, some of them even went further to say employ the locals. Let at least be a number of people who come from this area work at this police station. But police minister was cautioning that if you go with that approach, in fact, it would be self-defeating, because some of the people who would be locals working here, they would be reluctant really to be taking action against their fellow locals for various reasons, whether because they could be knowing them personally or related to them, but also for fear of possible victimization afterwards. So I guess the whole issue really is that if the police were to do their work, there would be no such complaints, because if crime is stamped out of this area and anywhere else possibly around the country, there would be no complaints coming from community members. But Mfundo, we also need to point out that for police minister to indicate that there is going to be a deployment of the tactical response team perhaps should also be seen as the with the seriousness that perhaps he is taking the situation that unfolded in Nomzamo with, because we know that the TRT response, when they were relaunched by former police minister Fikile Mbalula at the time in 2017 in September, their mandate was purely to go after criminals, armed criminals in particular, and also focusing on medium to high risks such as bank robbery or business robbery. So their aim, their main purpose coming here is primarily to go after these armed criminals. Of course, somebody would say possibly those who came to kill the 15 people at a tavern are no longer here, because we heard the minister yesterday saying that they actually come. Those 5 suspects, he says, they are coming from KwaNongoma in KwaZulu-Natal. But if the residents are saying, look, even before this mass killing, we know that on the daily basis guns are going off in this area, perhaps the presence of the TRT will have to assist the locals in this area, Mfundo.
And hopefully it does assist, and at least they get or feel a bit more safer. Moloko, we'll leave it there for now and catch up with you a bit later on. That's a reporter, Moloko Moloto. Now,